I've been told all my life to just be myself, right? And I think we've all realized that's kind of BS. Yeah, in so many fields, whether it's jobs, dating, or even our social life, there are so many skills that we need to learn, that we need to change. And extroversion and introversion is one of those spectrums that we all got to learn new skills on, right? But can we switch from one side to the other? How do we do it? And should we be doing it in the first place? Those are the 3 questions that I've collected honestly way too much research on to break down in this video. Number 1, can you become an extrovert? And the answer is clear. Kind of. Maybe, depending on the situation. So let's rapid fire through some research studies, okay? So in 2013, researchers found neurochemical differences between introverts and extroverts, specifically a different number of dopamine receptors in the brain depending on the level of extroversion. Or look at this research from 1999, which found that blood flow was in different regions of the brain for introverts and extroverts. For introverts, we have the frontal lobes, the anterior thalamus. For extroverts, we have the temporal lobes, posterior thalamus, the anterior cingulate gyrus. You know the anterior cingulate gyrus. And a neurochemical difference in blood flow and dopamine receptors means that extroversion introversion is hardwired into the brain, right? We just cannot change it, but that's actually not the case. So the cherry on top comes in 2015 from Hudson and Fraley's study on volitional personality change. Basically, they had a bunch of participants who decided they wanted to change some of their core personality traits, and over the course of the study, they found that they were actually able to. In fact, extroversion was one of the traits that showed the most positive change. It turns out a lot of these personality changes happen naturally with age. For example, researchers have always found what they call the maturity principle, that certain personality factors, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and emotional stability, these 3 personality traits increase with age. We kind of just become more calm, less narcissistic, and kind of better people. Conscientiousness. So the research is clear that personality change can naturally happen, but the question is, can we intentionally do it? Which brings us to number 2, how to increase our extroversion. Like a lot of things, the how comes in 2 parts. There's the internal and the external. The internal part is having a concrete and healthy motivation. Concrete means attached to specific goals, and healthy means healthy, dog. Few examples. Healthy motivations would be, okay, I want to build these skill sets for my job, or maybe I want to meet more people, I want to go on more dates, or I've just moved to a new city and I want to build a new social circle from scratch. While unhealthy motivations are usually tied to external and fleeting things, right? Maybe I want to be better liked in a specific environment, or I want to feel less alone, or I want to be more popular. And once we have this motivation that can actually get us through the process is conscious habit formation. Same research as earlier, Hudson in 2019 wanted to figure out what this exact process was to create and foster personality change. So he found a group of participants and then gave them a series of social challenges. It ranged from very simple, which is, just say hello to a cashier, wave to someone nearby, and then they got more and more complicated, right? Okay, attend a social event or go to an outing specifically with the intention of approaching people. And the finding is fascinating. He found that when paired with the desire to change, right, that motivation from the first half, these challenges of pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone were extremely successful in building the personality change that participants wanted. But we haven't answered the $1 million question. Should we be changing our personality in the first place? And the answer is probably not, except in certain conditions. I take snack breaks in between sections. And once again, there's 2 sides to it. There's an internal side and an external. And the internal is that going against our core being, our natural state, is exhausting. It's just a struggle, and think of it in any habit we're trying to form, right? I should honestly not be eating Cheetos while I'm filming videos, right? But anything that goes against our natural impulses, you're fighting against inertia. It just requires way more effort. And the external reason comes from this internal one. It's that this struggle is so serious that people can kind of notice it. They can feel something's off. This seems like this dude's just kind of faking it. Think of on YouTube and entertainment, even in our friend groups, we have these very fine-tuned internal radars for when someone's not exactly being themselves. And that's the vibe of trying too hard that happens in everything, especially in personality change. So what can we do instead? Embrace the natural strengths of our extroversion or introversion and work on the natural weaknesses. For an extrovert, that's usually a lack of reflection, an inability to be alone, to sit with themselves. And for an introvert, it might be struggles in social situations, an inability to make new friends, or being closed off to opportunities from other people. And after all this reflection, you might still believe that you should change, that you should learn these skill sets, in which case, there are 3 key habits that you should start with, which along with 3 social challenges, skills have been broken down in this video so that we can start learning those skill sets no matter how introverted we think we are. We'll talk soon.